Hi, and welcome to the E3 podcast for 2015. I'm your host, Andrea Ritsu, and with me are my three lovely hosts, Jim Sterling.
Hello there. Hi.
Hello there. Dina, Petite, Mistress.
Hey.
And Somniferous, Lottie.
Hi.
Hello. So this is the day before E3, actually. And there's been a bunch of press conferences already, so as usual, I've been doing this for 5 years now, and we always do one ahead of E3, going through the conferences, and I don't think I've done any of them with you before, so that's exciting. Of course, first of all, you and me, Jim, we've known each other for many years now. And
Yes, many, yeah.
And I've actually wanted to do a podcast with you before, but it's never really worked out properly with our schedule, so it's nice to finally see that work out.
Yep, I'm a hard man to track down.
You are.
You finally got me in the crosshairs, so yeah, I surrender.
Yeah. And Lottie, I've known you even longer. And yet I don't think we have done a podcast before, so that's also really fun.
Yeah, we haven't. I've done a couple of podcasts myself, like ages and ages ago. And I've tried organising. I tried doing an E3 one last year, and it just never ended up working out. Yeah. But yeah.
And of course, Dina, we have not known each other that long.
No.
But still, I'm happy to have you all here. So, let's just start off where E3 started off, I guess, which was technically yesterday, with Bethesda. They held their first ever E3 conference, and, well, they actually revealed quite a lot of gameplay and stuff there for a bunch of new games we hadn't seen before. Of course, starting off with Doom 4, or just Doom. I don't think I'll ever get used to just calling it Doom.
The naming is so weird on that series.
It's been Doom since 2007. It's been Doom 4 since 2007. Now I said it right, and yeah, whatever. That was the big thing I was really looking forward to was Doom, because Doom has been my favorite shooter since, I was a little kid. And I don't know, I was not impressed by the demonstration, but I want to hear what you guys thought as well.
Really?
I saw your reaction last night. You seemed very disappointed.
Yeah, I was very disappointed, to say the least.
I liked it. I liked it well enough from a gameplay standpoint. Once the ridiculous soundtrack kicked in, I was like, okay, this is. It looks a lot more like Doom than Doom 3 did, and I like Doom 3 well enough, so I'm on board with it. My only real issue is the color scheme, because there's that screenshot that's going around now where someone took that screenshot of the cacodemons they've got and just added color and made them red with blue mouths and made hell look like actual hell, and it looks so gorgeous compared to what id Software have actually made from a color standpoint, with this whole sort of tinge of urine that they've got over everything. So yeah, I aside from that, and there's fingers crossed time to fix it, I really do hope that they kind of add that color to it, because part of what I like about Doom is kind of the very garish color schemes and original character designs that they have, and this one just looks a bit too normal, and I don't feel that Doom should ever be a normal game.
That's pretty much exactly my sentiments on the visual design. I saw the Cacodemon. I didn't see it until an hour ago, and I do like the Cacodemon design. Actually, it's the first demon I actually like the design of. But apart from that, there were these, there were all the demons. I'm guessing they were all demons. I didn't see any zombies. But all the demons were these gray humanoid blobs that were colored by the yellow-orange light, and that was it.
Yeah, that's the Michael Bay filter that they're using, and it's pretty awful. Funny enough, I was just talking today about how gaming kind of seemed to get back its colors this year, because I was looking at Microsoft at the time, and I hadn't seen the Bethesda press conference then. And then someone was like, just look at Doom, and then I was like,
said that.
Yeah, there you go. You were like, Andrea was like, look at Doom, and I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it's still gray and dreary. Yeah.
The thing is, when they went indoors, at the Mars station, the color filter went away, and it looked much prettier. Yeah, it looked more like Doom 3 because it was dark and like there were gray space hallways, but like
Yeah.
it looked good. And then they went out again. And it was like, oh, now we're in Deus Ex CGI PR screen.
But it was
Yeah.
really exciting though. It looked really like it looked fun and it looked really visceral. And honestly, although I'm usually all about melee, the chainsaw looked like the least fun. That shotgun was amazing.
I
Like,
mean, gameplay wise, I was excited at first. Like when they first started the combat, I was like, okay, well, this is pretty good. Um, but the more I kept watching it, the less fast it felt. Like
yeah, that's the
I
chainsaw. The
kept.
chainsaw is really slow.
Well, yeah, the chainsaw is terrible, but like I compared it a lot to Wolfenstein: The New Order, and I still do that today because Wolfenstein: The New Order had color, it was fast, and it had actual like gameplay and gunplay built around that speed. Like the closest thing we saw in this game is that you could climb up on boxes, and like okay, that's great, but it didn't feel like the game had evolved beyond just running around, but it tried to pretend like it had. It felt just unpolished, and
Mm.
the whole finishing move thing really took me out of the game. I People seem to like that. I don't know. I really hated the finishing moves.
Finishing moves. You mean like the slicing up and
Yeah, like
stuff like that?
like all the time throughout the gameplay footage, the enemies would like glow blue and orange, and then you could just walk out and do a one-hit kill command on them.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
kept
yeah.
doing
Fuck
that.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that was fucking terrible. And that you're right, like the really slow gameplay that takes you out of it completely. The full like, okay, we're gonna do an animation now, and you're just gonna sit here and look at it. I imagine it's pretty fun when you first get the chainsaw and you hack a little bit, but then when you're mowing through 3,000 enemies, you're like,
Well, that's the thing. It's Gears of War. Like the first time you used the Lancer in Gears of War, it was fun to saw through your
yeah, yeah, yeah.
enemies. But you don't use that weapon throughout the entire game over and over again that way because it's just a little fun side thing if you happen to get close to someone.
Yep.
And you have the chainsaw, like in the old Doom games, the chainsaw, yeah, you would get stuck in an enemy and you would stay there for a little while. But that was because you were pushing through the enemy. Here you just stop in your place and you would saw through. And it just feels like that would go against the whole like, oh, we want fast run to the enemies and shoot them up thing combat mechanic. I lost my train of thought there somewhere, but like it seems to go against the general idea of a fast-paced shooter in that regard,
Yep.
which was a shame. I have sort of after watching the E3 trailer and rewatching the footage a bit more. I actually have there are some things I did like about it. Um, Although to be fair, a lot of it is like minor things. Like I really like the UI a lot. I think it's a very good UI that's simple, but like really clearly tells you what you need, what you need to know. It's not cluttered. It's not. And it doesn't go away either. It's actually always up, and yet it doesn't feel cluttered. That's I haven't seen that in a shooter in quite some time. They always fade out, and you don't see them until you get hit or something, and that was nice. And of course, the mod tools look really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that I noticed in the footage they had of some of the mod stuff. There's definitely examples of the kind of fast gameplay that we kind of expect from Doom
Yeah.
in there as an example. I mean, it's kind of a bit that we've got to create it ourselves, but I do like the idea of basically Doom getting its own little big planet kind of
Yeah.
mode, and people can basically. I mean, that's it. That's what really set the game apart for me. I was watching the combat. It was entertaining. I mean, I felt very
Yeah.
sorry for the demons, the poor bastards, being ripped apart, and just the shot of the one like throwing his own forearms above to try and block the chainsaw and
Yeah.
getting them sawn through. I'm like the poor git. But like so it looked okay, and then they showed the whole modding stuff and the fact that you can craft your own levels, and that really put me firmly into the kind of, I won't say excited. I hate using words like excited and hyped, but they have my attention. I'll say that
Yeah.
much.
That made me really happy because when they released the BFG edition a few years ago, they took out mod support, and I didn't understand why. Because like Bethesda and id Software, they have been living on mod support since they started, and suddenly they release a game without mod support. But now they got it in all three versions, and that's really nice actually. and it looked pretty easy to use as well, which was really cool. Like, it wasn't like they made a console version of Quake 3 Radiant that you would build the maps on or anything. It was fairly simple, like, place and create, just
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun.
together,
And you can just, stick it together and just test it right away, which I thought was a great feature.
Yeah,
just drop in there and start shooting.
And that, like, that really, I would say that was my biggest, the thing I liked the most about the Doom showing was that, because, like I said, you mentioned the first video I made. I made a second video that apparently didn't have any audio. I just uploaded it, but I was told it doesn't have any audio, so I gotta fix that after this. Where I actually walk through, and I give some positive comments as well, because people got really angry at me. I was like, no, I did like some stuff. Here they are. And one of the things I mentioned was like the map creation thing, and I get the feeling like if you don't necessarily love the content that Doom will have to offer, at least there might be some content there you can enjoy anyway, and that's always something. That's something I liked about StarCraft 2, is that well, even now you can get it for free even, because Blizzard has the StarCraft 2 Starter Edition, which is compatible with all the mod content, and there are players who have made like their own entire RPGs and first-person arena shooters and everything in StarCraft 2's mod tools that you can play for free, and that's neat, and to see that on console would be really awesome.
Yeah, but community-generated content is so hit and miss. It's...
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. I don't know. I mean, a lot of gamers don't really understand the concept of gamers. I hate that word. They don't understand the concept of what makes something fun, and they just crank up the difficulty to 11. I had a friend complaining about Mario Game Maker today on Twitter, and they were like, everyone's going to make levels that are completely impossible, completely not fun, and he's like, I can't remember any game with user-generated content that did it right and did it in a fun way, and it wasn't like horrible levels labeled not for girls or stuff like that. And I thought about it, and I'm like, well, to be fair, there was Little Big Planet.
Well, the first thing I did in Little Big Planet 1 was create a stage that you couldn't finish without breaking it. So...
I hate you. No,
I mean, I'm more positive on user-created stuff. I mean, the stuff like, I was very lukewarm about Super Mario Maker until I watched the Nintendo World Championship and just seeing what it was capable of, and having played pretty much all, apart from the last one because I just couldn't be bothered, but all of the other Little Big Planet games up till then, I've always been surprised and blown away by just how brilliantly talented and clever some totally amateur devs putting stuff together in their own sort of living rooms can be. So while there will be some people out there who clearly have no grasp of what they're doing and make a load of crap or just make stuff that's ridiculously hard for the sake of it, I do have plenty of faith that the user-generated stuff will give rise to a significant amount of really good level design, and I'm kind of excited for that. I've been more getting into the idea of games with user-generated stuff on it, and so far that has only proven to be an exciting avenue.
I can't wait to see all the tens of thousands of recreations of Episode 1, Map 1 from Doom 1 to be including my own, most likely. Lottie, what do you think about the Doom footage?
I liked the bits where they were... Well, I've only seen it once, but I thought that the pace that they were the player was moving at was all right, but then it just like completely broke the pace whenever they were doing the melee stuff. I didn't get it. But yeah, I think part of it might be because obviously I saw your opinions of it first. I wasn't watching it live, so.
My meltdown on Twitter where I stopped talking about the Bethesda conference.
Yeah.
I had to catch up with Fallout 4, Elder Scrolls Legends, Battle Cry, Dishonored, well, every single game after Doom when the conference was over, because I was still ranting about Doom 4.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm still not I'm still very disappointed in Doom 4, and I hope I will be swayed to think otherwise, because I have yet to play any software game that I did not enjoy. And it would really suck to see the first one to be the one I don't like, to be the one that happened after John Carmack left, because I don't want to think that everything good in id that was left was in John Carmack. I really don't want to think that, but I'm a little worried. But we'll see. It's coming out in spring anyway. But something else that actually had a surprising amount of color, also shown at the Bethesda conference, was of course Fallout 4, which is probably one of the most talked about games at E3 this year, understandably. And,
I'm not a Fallout person. I never got it.
I like Fallout.
I think all you need to know with this one is you can play Donkey Kong on your Pip-Boy.
Hey,
which I'm sold. That's it.
Yeah, they had me right there and then.
Even better, you can play Donkey Kong on your Pip-Boy on your own arm using your smartphone.
Yeah, that looked so badass.
Which means you can just play Donkey Kong on your smartphone instead. But it's cooler if you do it through Fallout 5.
It's the actual thing that you can get on your arm. That looks so cool. And the fact that it actually works with the game, it kind of reminds me of like the PlayStation Pocket back in the day.
Yeah, or the Dreamcast visual memory unit.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it's the first time I've seen I hate the term, but companion app actually like look really interesting to use. So that was pretty cool.
I've always liked the idea. I love the idea of companion apps, and I did use it briefly for Dead Rising 3. I used their version, and it was okay. I mean, it's not something that I was itching to pull my phone out for every single time I played Dead Rising 3, but for the times I tried it, it was a very fun little gimmick. It doesn't hurt the game by being there, and when you play with it, it's a nice distracting extra. It was kind of cool to have mission objectives and stuff come out of my tablet on the table next to me while playing, and then sort of other optional missions that had come up. So I like the idea of it, and I will probably get that Pip-Boy edition, like a shameless corporate slave, and I will probably play Fallout wearing it and tapping on my phone like an idiot.
Well, that's the thing. Nice. Like I'm thinking about like the Fallout 3 limited edition that came with like the lunchbox, and I was like, oh, it was so cool. You got the lunchbox with a little bobblehead, and now they've gone a step further than that.
Well, they're my favorite types of collector's editions. Like, I'm very cynical about collector's editions for the most part, but I love a good one. And my favorite type is the stuff that gives you, like,
things
real world stuff. The kind of stuff that feels like it came from that world. And I never did get the lunchbox, but I keep meaning to get it one day, like track it down. The lunchbox, the New Vegas thing with the poker chips, just stuff that looks like artifacts from that game's universe.
I really liked the Devil May Cry, the DMC limited edition. I got that one. It came with the necklace Dante had, the little red stone and stuff. That was really cool. I still have that. And I think Elder Scrolls Oblivion came with like a Septim coin. So you could look at that, and I really do like that kind of stuff. Like,
I think the last thing I got that was limited edition was Mortal Kombat 8 or 9, the one that came out a couple years ago, and it came with it came out with bookends of like Scorpio just using getting his hook through really Sub-Zero. Cool. Those are so badass. They're so cool. I love them. That was like the one time I pre-ordered something and I felt like trash for it because I hate pre-orders.
I'm not a fan of pre-orders either, but they do
I find them justified in situations where there's an actual chance that you won't get the thing. Like, I think the Pip-Boy, for example, is a justified pre-order, and I'm not saying that just because I actually did it. I do think that's one of the justified cases, this kind of stuff where you get the feeling that, you know what, they might not actually have that in the store.
That's going to sell out pretty fast.
That was my thought as well, but at the same time, I was like, I could see myself pre-ordering that, and then I go onto Bethesda's blog to see if they posted any new screenshots or anything, and the first thing I see is literally just the logo saying Fallout 4 pre-order now. I'm like, no, I'm not going to pre-order you. Not if you ask like that, like no. But I avoid pre-orders unless it's specifically like something I know will not be around. Like I pre-ordered the Splatoon Amiibo edition that came out in Europe because that's the only way to get
so
the squid.
jealous.
Oh, you're jealous? I haven't gotten it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be jealous soon.
Because I know you picked up the Inkling Girl for me.
Yeah, it's hanging on my wall right now to be safe away from the cat.
Well, funnily enough, the amount of offers I got after I did that Jimquisition complaining about Amiibo, my PO box had the 3-pack in it. So yeah, I'm worried that the next time I go, it's just going to be full of Inklings.
You can make a fortune selling those.
Real. Oh, I would keep them.
Yeah, or just
repaint them all different colors.
Yeah, I might if if I end up with an abundance, I may end up throwing them out at the Jimquisition Live thing I'm doing next month. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that actually be really good.
But the Fallout and what was it, Doom and Dishonored have their own amiibo now.
Yeah.
Those little figures.
Yeah.
They look
the
pretty
ones that are
cool.
up on eBay, right?
Are they up on eBay already?
Yeah, they're like $350 a pop.
Bethesda lied though. They were like, "We're here at the Academy Awards venue. We won't be giving away any statues," and then they gave away 3 statues.
Yeah,
that's liars.
Yeah, because like everyone, including myself, made the joke, "Haha, they're not giving out amiibos," and then
they
were
gave
fooled.
out amiibo.
They did. Yeah,
you can't do that. But that was pretty cool. And although I was sad to see that the orange Cyber Demon was actually gray and just orange because of the lighting.
Yeah.
I thought, well, at least the Cyber Demon should be orange. Oh, it's Cyber Demon is gray now. Oh, never mind then.
Gray is my favorite color.
Yeah.
But there was a dog, and that was really cute. I feel like there's a theme of dogs this year. I feel like COD made dogs popular.
Yeah,
there was a lot of dogs.
Games love dogs. We get kind of cyclical waves of them. Every few years, like we just get the year of the dog, and it's come around again.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fallout's kind of kicked that off, and obviously we had that what's it called, the Recore, something like that, with the Robo Dog, which I loved because. We all know that when you see a dog prominent in a game, they're going to find a way to kill it. Yeah, they're going to kill it to make the game quote unquote emotional. But what I love about that Recall game was the dog constantly dies, so you get to watch it die over and over again, and then put it in new things so that you can watch it die again and be sad. So that's more emotions than like every Quantic Dream game ever.
But you're not sad. You're not sad 'cause he's not dead, or she's not dead, or the thing is not dead. It's contained in that ball.
That is true. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they make it like sound like yelp every time it dies. Like if they do that, like I won't play that game. I will toss it out.
Yeah.
Cannot handle sad dog stuff.
Yeah, but it was. You mentioned Dishonored 2 there before, and that was something that accidentally leaked. Like a snip during Bethesda's rehearsal stream, which I was really happy about because I really like Dishonored. Although I haven't finished it. It's weird. It's a game I keep starting up thinking, I really like this game. I'll play it some other time. And then I close it down. I don't know why, because it's so much fun.
Well, they've got the definitive edition coming soon. That's the first of many HD re-release announcements I'm sure we'll be getting this week. So you can play that, or of course you can play the original copy on your Xbox One in a minute, I guess.
No, because Xbox One, I looked at the list of Xbox One compatible games. There are 20 games right now, and none of them are games that would ever get definitive editions. There's stuff like Hexic HD, Perfect Dark Zero, Cameo,
Geometry Wars.
Yeah, Geometry Wars 1.
What? That's amazing. I love that game.
I do too. I love Hexic HD as well, but I'm not gonna get an Xbox One to play Hexic HD. And I was thinking like, oh, well, what's the point of Gears of War Remastered if we're going to be able to play? Oh, because they're not going to put it on the compatible list.
Oh,
of
that's
course.
That's cheeky. That is.
That's what they did with the Xbox One, the original Xbox One, the original Xbox. Those games, when they got compatible with 360, games like The Godfather or like other games that were launch titles on the 360 as well, they weren't compatible. So like you couldn't keep your copy of The Godfather and play that on the 360 because you had to buy it again.
Wow, that's fucking awful.
It was the same with Midway Arcade Treasures as well.
Yeah.
So that was incompatible, but then they sold all the games individually piecemeal on the on Xbox Live Arcade, like Smash TV and that.
And I mean, they promised like 100 titles by the end of the year, but the 360 library has like 10,000 titles, so who knows what those 100 titles will be if they at launch of it doesn't even have Halo 3 on there, because Halo is in the Master Chief collection, so why would they? I mean, I'm very cynical on that point, but I don't trust Microsoft.
Yeah, I really believe that you were just going to be able to pop in your 360 and it would unlock something and CD wouldn't spin, but you would still get to play whatever the hell you wanted.
Well, that's the thing, because when they first said it, like, oh, and we'll have 100 games available at the end of the year through the digital store, and I was like, oh, so it's a digital backwards compatibility, okay. And then they said, and of course your discs will work as well. I'm like, but...
Pretty sure the discs are not going to work. It's going to be like a symbolic you need to have to put your disc in there, then you can download it for free type thing.
Because that's how the installs worked on a 360. Like, you would just have the disc in and it would play it. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm guessing the compatibility is already out for the first 20 games. So if someone owns Perfect Dark Zero and an Xbox One,
Nobody owns an Xbox One.
Oh no, isn't it? Because you have to be like a preview.
Oh yeah, you have to be
and then everyone else has to wait like another 6 months.
I still don't get why they didn't release another Perfect Dark game and call it Perfect Dark 1, though. Like, that would have been the perfect way to segue from Zero into the next game.
They're keeping it for Gamescom.
Oh, yeah. Everything is kept for Gamescom. But since we're on Microsoft now, I'm going to assume we have nothing interesting to say about the Elder Scrolls Online.
No, sorry.
Oh, okay, good.
I assume none of us have anything interesting.
Bethesda had nothing interesting to say about the Elder Scrolls Online.
I mean, they said it existed.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, I wrote on my E3 bingo card, Bethesda threatens us with more Elder Scrolls Online, and I checked that box. So
yeah. And they've got their own version of Hearthstone now, so that's nice for them.
And I might try playing that. I like card games, but I mean, I'm not rushing out to do it. I don't know if it's out already. Oh, but that reminds me, the Fallout game for mobile.
Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
As soon as it's out for Android, I'll give a crap. But I'm kind of waiting for that. Like, I got really excited, and then they just kept saying iOS, and then later, Heighten's confirmed.
Yeah,
I don't care about Fallout.
The our mutual friend Thomas Strong has already played it and made sure to have a baby born and name him Jonathan Holmes.
Wonderful.
Yep. So now Holmes was born, which is good, and the rest of the joke will make sense to the audience. But yeah, that actually looked kind of fun. I might try that out. It seems like a very iPad-friendly game. So I like when I can play my mobile games on the iPad, not the iPhone, even though my iPhone is more powerful. Because, I don't know, small screens still don't sit too well with me for most games. But, yeah, that looked kind of fun. But, okay, so moving on to Microsoft, I suppose, because we already did. Fallout 4 was there again.
Yes.
Mod support for Xbox One. I wonder if they will be at the PS4 conference as well and announce mod support there too.
I'm really curious about PS4 now.
I think it was Pete Hine. No, it was Todd Howard in an interview today on the YouTube E3 channel said that they're planning the mod support for Xbox One on Fallout 4 like 6 months after launch or something like that, sometime after launch. And right now the status is they hope it comes to PS4. So they've not got a confirmation for us, but it's something Bethesda wants to do. So I guess that ball's in Sony's court.
Well, I'd be very surprised if Sony says no, seeing as they were okay with it for Unreal 3 on the PS3.
Yeah.
But you never know. This industry is very unpredictable at times.
Is it though?
Well, both yes and no. It's very non-predictable when you have things like the Microsoft conference and EA comes out on stage to brag about their subscription program.
Oh my God, EA! What were you thinking? That was so boring. And the rest of the conference, I never thought I'd say this, but Microsoft killed it this year. So far, they've had the best content. Like, I hate content, but games. They've shown the most cool games I want to play, apart from that one yarn game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite famously cynical about Microsoft, and I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. But they had a very, very strong showing, very confident showing, very like Phil Spencer walked out like he had the biggest dick in the room. Like he clearly knew what he was doing that year. They didn't mention Connect once, which I love, and they showed off some really interesting stuff. Like the games were on point, the presentations were again, they just showed faith in what they were showing, which was important. And obviously the backwards compatibility was a strong start, and then just launched into some really... Like, the Rare collection was the thing that jumped out for me the most. Just the 30 games for $30 thing they're doing.
I was actually
was a great touch.
When they announced the Rare replay thing, I was sitting there like, yeah, that's cool and all. And then I saw the Yet Fuzzy Gemini logo, and I was like, oh well, okay then. Now I'm into it. I've been asking for Yet Fuzzy Gemini for years. So
yeah, I mean, another bunch of re-releases isn't that exciting on its own, but just the sheer, I mean, the fact that they're covering like things like Conker's Bad Fur Day, as well as things that go as far back as Battletoads, like just the sheer range of consoles they'll be covering.
Last Core was on there, so
like the sheer the different amount of games, the sheer amount of content that they've got there for $30 is just that's a damn good deal right there.
Really was.
I don't know why I looked through it and I was hoping to see GoldenEye, but of course it's not there.
that was the first thing I said when Rare walked out on stage, because I saw the leak about the Rare collection. It happened like 5 minutes earlier or something. Yeah. And I was like, GoldenEye's not going to be there. And I knew, because it can't even be there right now, I think, because the licenses are between like 3 different companies.
And I think Activision's really got their hands on the keys there. That's the shame with good licenses.
Activision has given up the Bond license.
Yeah, I thought it was Nintendo that was holding on to GoldenEye.
Nintendo has part of the license for GoldenEye, and Rare has part of the ownership as well. And then, like, there's a third part floating around somewhere that Activision gave up when they gave up the 007 license, and it's not picked up, but it has to be included.
Oh,
and it's... I hate
intellectual property licenses are like the worst thing. They're why I can't get a downloadable copy, at least legally, of the Aliens vs Predator arcade game, the beat 'em up, because it's in bits of it are in everybody's hands, and I feel really bad about the future of the really good Arkham games and stuff like that, like 10, 20 years from now, because who knows how many different corporations are going to have their fingers in that pot, and we'll never be able to get other versions or new versions of that game anymore, because so many lawyers are involved by that point.
Exactly. I mean, it's a wider issue than just games as well, because you have like just when it comes to like localization of things. I've learned that a bunch of the issues comes with like when it's from Japan, there will be like 10 different voice acting agencies that all need to like clear to use their voices. Otherwise, like, you'll have one character whose Japanese voice you can't use. They need to redub everything, and they need to put more money into it. Like, everything regarding like contracts regarding of what we can release again is so messed up.
Yeah, Japanese games industry rules are kind of very... I think anal is the right word for it. Very particular.
Anal is always the right word. Are we saying that?
There was also that a demo on the Wii U a while ago. I'm trying to remember what it was called. What's it? Chasing Aurora, where the devs weren't allowed to put in the music from the game. They had to remove it.
Oh, what?
Due to some licensing issue thing.
I mean, they're not even the publishers, the big AAA publishers, know the licenses properly. We had the whole Scribble Knots thing with Warner Brothers a few years ago when they put in Nyan Cat and another one of the cat, the piano playing cat. I don't know.
The keyboard cat, I think.
Yeah, keyboard cat. That's what it's called. I feel old, but and of course they didn't have a license for that, and that's Warner Brothers. They're the ones striking people with license strikes. Like, you would think they would know, but no.
No.
It's a mess, and
Warner
I forget
Brother?
what we were talking. Oh yeah, the Rare collection. That's what we were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Rare actually revealed a new game that wasn't Kinect.
Yeah, was it Sea of Thieves or something?
Sea of Thieves. It's like some sort of pirate MMO, and I kind of really want it.
It looks cute.
Yeah.
It looks cute as hell.
Yeah, the water looked so cool. Like I know people always talk about water and graphics, but this was cartoony water and graphics, and that's different. I haven't seen cartoony water this pretty since. Well, this is actually prettier than Wind Waker, but otherwise it was only Wind Waker that did it pretty. And that looked really cool. I like pirates. I mean, someone said Monkey Island Online, and my thought was, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, the MMO aspect is what really I was like, oh, this looks really exciting. This looks, it's online.
Yeah, I hope
it's free to play.
I hope it's more like, I mean, they never said the words or the letters MMO, but I hope that it's more multiplayer in the like local Minecraft sense that you can just set up and play with like 3 or 4 friends. Because I'm not that fond of MMOs, says the person with over 1,000 hours in Final Fantasy XIV Online. But
yeah, but that one's different. Even
that's a good one.
Yeah.
But I don't like interacting with like this large crowd of players that very rarely want to interact with you either. So I don't know, but that could be really fun. I really did like the look of it, and overall, like Microsoft had a really good, strong presentation that made me really, really happy that I have a Windows 10 computer. I still don't want an Xbox One, and that's the weird thing. Because everything was like, oh, and this is coming to Windows 10. I'm like, okay, good. I already have Windows 10. I can play it.
Yeah, I feel like they're really screwing themselves with that one, with the fact that if you have a computer with Windows 10 on it, which is a free update, isn't it? It's like beta, and they're testing it on the people now.
Well, the thing is, Windows 10 is actually quite interesting in how software works on it, because basically the Windows 10 for PC and the Windows 10 for tablets is the same thing. And basically, Microsoft has this new policy regarding games on their tablets and phones, that everything that is marked Windows 10 must be functioning, must work on all Windows 10 platforms. So you will have like every tablet game, every phone game you can also find and download for your Windows 10 PC in the Windows Store. Like, you will still say it's a tablet game if it was made for tablets or phone, the otherwise, but you can still download it and play it. And if it's not well made, then it's literally touchscreen with a mouse. But if it's well made, then they've actually taken it into consideration. Like, they released that pretty terrible endless Sonic the Hedgehog runner for Windows 10, Sonic Dash, and like that has proper keyboard controls and everything. So when they say Windows 10, what they really mean is you can play this on tablets, but it automatically also means PC release, which I really do like. Although, of course, not everything was Windows 10. You still had stuff like Rise of the Tomb Raider, Gears 4. We really needed to grittify the Gears of War title by removing words.
Yeah,
of all titles.
Guess.
I'm guessing they were really tired of being confused with God of War or something.
But the cool thing about that trailer was it was the only one featuring a white dude protagonist. That's the mind-blowing thing about Microsoft this year. And
I actually liked it. That's even... Like, everyone was really ragging on the Gears 4 footage. I was sitting here like, oh, it's Gears of War, but in an Alan Wake-style horror game.
I think the main problem was just the fact people couldn't see it. They
couldn't see
what was going on. I did like it.
Oh.
But then I am a Gears fan in general. So I did like what I was seeing. It's weird seeing a normally proportioned human man as the protagonist, though. Like, he didn't look like he was made out of reconstituted steak meat, or like he was Reggie Fils-Aimé's bigger brother or something. It was odd to see, but I'm not against it. But I'm looking forward to seeing gameplay that isn't that scripted, because that was very scripted. I mean, the guy switched to his shotgun before the demon even the monster even telegraphed it was attacking, and then he switched to the shotgun, and then the monster jumped, and it was like you could have tried to have made that look a bit more spontaneous.
That actually reminds me, I noticed a thing like that in the Doom 4 trailer, where you can see a demon going in, like disappearing for like one frame. And then going into its death animation before the player has actually brought up and changed to the shotgun and fired. And I was like, really? You let that through on the trailer? That's not good.
Cheeky.
But I did like the Gears 4 footage. I mean, yeah, it was very dark, but I think I really did like how dark it was. But then again, my favorite shooter is Doom 3, so I like very, very dark games, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it had this like very non-Gears of War, like, I don't want to say art style, that's the wrong word, but like tone to it. Just like it was not. Gears of War is always low contrast, grayish, maybe some orange, and like it's war. It's everything is broken. And here it was more like, oh, here's the creepy graveyard from the Resident Evil 4 opening scenario. But now it's with Gears of War characters. Like, okay.
I made a point at the time that it looked like the Gears of War characters had been lost in like Dark Souls' world or something. Like it had this kind of real broken down gothic look to it, which I'm certainly not against. It's different and yeah, if they're adding a kind of horror route to Gears, I'd kind of be into that.
Yeah, that could be cool. And you just mentioned Dark Souls. Dark Souls 3 was given a CGI trailer.
Yes.
It's coming to PS4, PC, and Xbox One.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea of yearly Soul-style games just, it sets me on edge. Like, those games are special events, and the idea of having Bloodborne, then Dark Souls 3, then who knows, the potential threat of Bloodborne 2 the next year, and then Dark Souls 4, like, I really don't want them to Call of Duty-ize the Souls games.
I honestly thought that Microsoft was doing we got Dark Souls exclusive now, and it would become like a Bloodborne versus Dark Souls thing for the rest of the generation. But then I thought like, oh, so they're doing that. That's interesting. And then I saw on Bandai Namco's YouTube channel like, okay, it's for PC and PS4 as well. It was just on the Microsoft.
Yeah, we're not allowed to say that on Microsoft's weirdly designed stage.
Yeah. Overall, like, I really wish they would have just cut out some of the people who had their own conferences, like Square, EA, and Ubisoft.
EA,
all of the ones that had their own
cut out EA.
Yeah, because like
from everything.
That was interminably dull.
It was, but we got to learn about which sport game was it? One of the sport games.
FIFA? Are you talking about their separate conference?
No, the one on the Microsoft stage. They talked about the sport game.
Oh, I completely zoned out. I'm sorry.
It's all the sport bled into itself. I mean, they kept the sport to a minimum, and they didn't say the word television once on for Microsoft's part. So I was impressed with that.
I was actually expecting. Because last year was Microsoft's, I would say, their strongest conference. I would say it's stronger than this year, and it was just games, and games throughout all of it. So I figured, okay, this is the year they're going back to sports and television, and no.
Wait, no, last year was awful. Last year was when they got shredded by PS4.
I think.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
I mean, the PS4 conference was better, yeah, but I really like Microsoft conference. They had Phantom Dust, which they cancelled. And like a bunch
they cancelled Phantom Dust?
Yeah, Phantom Dust was cancelled.
Oh.
That was, I think, last year's E3 podcast. On the pre-E3 episode, we specifically, me and Conrad Simonon talked about Phantom Dust, and he was like, oh yeah, this is the game that's going to make me buy an Xbox One now. And then they cancel it. Oh, so yeah, that's sad. But I liked their conference last year, but this year was still really good, and I did appreciate what Microsoft did with the indies. I just wish they would have given the indies more stage time instead of EA, Ubi, and Square Enix.
Yeah, but they bring the big bucks, so you know how that works.
I know, but they have their own conferences. They don't need the stage.
But they want it. Give it to them.
There was that game that the woman had made about the blind girl. I wanted to know more about that, but
Beyond Eyes, yeah.
Yeah, Beyond Eyes, and she was there for like 30 seconds, and then I was like, "Oh, next game." And
yeah, they didn't get their due. I mean, Steve Gaynor got his due because that looked amazing. I really want to play Tacoma.
Oh yeah, that the space game. Yeah, I think they announced it at the Video Game Awards or something. But yeah, that looked really cool. I still haven't played Gone Home, but that looked cool.
I really like the look of that Ashen.
Yes, and Cupheads.
Oh,
Cuphead looks so cool.
Looks incredible.
I've been waiting for that game for what seems like 3 lifetimes. I feel like it's been announced for like 3 years now. Where is it?
I have never heard of it before. I saw it, I was like, oh, this looks really awesome.
Oh,
I
it was
want
there
this.
last year. It was there at Xbox. Yeah, it's indie show last year. It was
I
the
missed.
only thing that was noteworthy.
Huh.
Yeah.
I hope I don't forget about it until next E3 then. But
No, it was great. And there
no,
was
that looks...
Gigantic. Can we talk about Gigantic? That looked
Wait, was
so
that the
good.
one that wasn't Last Guardian?
That's Gigantic was a really colorful one with the really big, burly, femme-looking brown woman called
Oh,
Imani.
oh, the MOBA.
It's the one that you said looked
Oh,
like Sonic
yes.
Boom.
Oh yeah, that was the
How
first thing.
dare
The
you?
first thing I said was, "Is this Sonic Boom?" when they showed the caverns, and I was like, "Oh no, that's good."
It was
I was,
not Sonic
I was
Boom.
really worried for a second we'd get even more Sonic Boom.
You know what? They can keep releasing as many Sonic Boom games as they like, so long as that Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account keeps doing what it's
Yes, I
It's
love
so
the Sonic Twitter account. Bring your MS Paint skills tomorrow. Like it replies to the weirdest comments. Someone asked if Sonic supported communist Russia, and they replied with like, "This is the weirdest question so far. Not sure what to say." Like just every single mention from the official
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter is wonderful.
Yeah, the end Knuckles competition was just
Yeah. And someone asked, "Can we use Photoshop?" And they were like, "Well, I mean, it's okay, I guess, but please get a paint license for the next one." Like, oh. Yeah, that's great. But no, that game looked really cool. Like the art style was really pretty. Like, I think that's something Microsoft should really be commended for. There was so many different art styles.
Yeah. No, it looked great.
I think like every single game had its own unique art style that wasn't presented by Ubisoft or EA or Square Enix, and they shouldn't be there. I keep forgetting they were there. But like there was also that game that looked a bit like The Last Guardian, but wasn't The Last Guardian. I don't remember what it was called.
Ashen, was it?
That was Ashen.
Was
Yeah.
that Ashen? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
The fellas without the faces. And
Yeah,
everything.
and the skeleton that stabbed the dude with the spear. I don't know where.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something called Daisy that I kept thinking was about Nintendo, but
Oh, they talked about early access on Xbox.
Oh,
and then,
yes.
And then
Oh,
brought
yeah.
the DC developer. I'm like,
Oh, that
Oh.
made me feel so ill.
yeah, early access on Xbox.
but it's arguably better than actual early access because they let you try out the game before
Yeah.
it gets stuck in its
Yeah.
development hellhole.
Yeah, that is good.
I don't think a console could get away with the sheer liberties that are taken with early access on Steam. So they need to offer trials, police it a bit better. So it's definitely not going to be anywhere near as bad as Steam's version, but I hate the creep of it coming in. Like I have issues with early access as a thing in a few ways, and it takes the wind out of sales of game releases. I feel like
Yeah, it definitely
when
does.
when a game just kind of oozes its way into existence rather than has an actual launch date. It's an odd thing, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like the idea of like the last part of testing, so to say, of QA testing going out to a large group of players early on. Like I think that's a very good way to handle it because, well, you do first of all you get QA testing, and if it's ready to release soon anyway, then it will actually be then you'll be paying for an actual product, sort of.
Yeah.
But when it comes to just every single little, oh hey, I have worked on this game in Unity for 2 days. Let's put it up on early access for $10. Like no, please don't.
Yeah, I mean, from personal experience, it is and it isn't. At the same time, like the masses, quote unquote, as much as the more enthusiastic they are about your game, the more rabid they are about your game, the more really obscure, specific, and lopsided their QA will be. Like, you'll get the most bizarre comments about things that your everyday person or like anyone who plays the game will not even notice.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing because it definitely skews the tweaking one way.
It depends on how well tweaking has gone before that, I would say. I mean, I played to go back to a game I mentioned earlier. I played Final Fantasy 14 in early access.
Oh, that was terrible.
And the beta. Well, okay, not the bad 14, the good 14.
Okay.
In early access, so confusing. But I felt like it was the 2 months before release. I got into closed beta, and it was basically if you pre-order, you get into closed beta at that point. It's like okay, and that really helped because there were a lot of issues during that closed beta that basically only people who just pre-ordered pointed out that were fixed by launch that helped the game really like made the game playable for some players at the start because there were things like if you play as a black mage or a thaumaturge you can't get past this story quest if you don't run across the entire world map where you're not supposed to be, pick up a side job over here and get a cure spell and run all the way back. We shouldn't have to do that. And like, oh no, you're right, you shouldn't. We'll fix that. And that apparently had been that way throughout, well, all the months prior to that in QA testing and closed beta. So, yeah, I don't know. I think early access is an important thing, but I don't think it has been used well yet. Like when it comes to Steam early access, and Xbox early access scares me so much.
It's mostly shilling unfinished games that have no real like intention of ever finishing, really.
I'm also worried it's just going to become the Xbox One version of the Xbox Live indie games, which will be like the games that can't make it onto the arcade will stay there and either be forgotten if they're good or be just really bad and grab money when they shouldn't.
I think that's something to always be mindful of with services on consoles is Microsoft and Sony especially really good at abandoning ideas if they don't work the way they want them to, rather than try and fix them or provide any oversight. So there is a chance that very much like the Xbox Indie Games channel, like this could go for a year or so, and then Microsoft will just not be bothered, and then it will become just a circus of misery.
It'll become like the Xbox backwards compatibility on the 360.
Or, the Vita, all of it, all of that aborted project.
All of the Vita.
Well, if you're in Japan, the Vita is doing great.
Well, I was in Japan, and it was doing great.
Exactly.
But, I mean, it's just Japan. There's like a Street Pass function on the Vita?
I don't have a Vita, but I didn't know that.
It's called Near. It's really weird. It just tells you if people who have Vitas are nearby, and that's about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I never understood it. I've always looked at Nier and never understood it. It's a weird thing, but at least one thing we can predict with E3 is that Sony sure as hell ain't going to mention the Vita on stage tonight.
Oh, but they already, they announced that it was dead, right? They were like, yeah, we're done. I think it was maybe a week ago?
They said that, and then I think they tried to backtrack on it, because they were talking about, I think they're trying to prepare to shill something else. I don't know what they're going to try and do next, but they definitely gave the sense that they were done with the Vita, and then they tried to backpedal a bit, I think, when people were calling them out. But I mean, we all kind of know it. Like they are bored of this is what Sony does, unfortunately, very much like PlayStation Move and all the other stuff they try and bring out. They get so bored easily of the things they bring out. And if they're not worldwide.
One show, The Gamer. Does anyone remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It's still one of my weirdest E3 memories was a guy who was on that show sat down and talked to me as if I was interviewing him. Like I didn't know who he was. He was just like, "Oh hi, I can't remember his name, but he said who he was." I said, "Hi, I'm Jim." Sat down to me and said, "So when I was on The Gamer," and then just launched into this long story that I blacked out because I was trying to work. And then he just left. It was the weirdest thing.
What?
Well then, yeah, I remember Gamer. That was The Gamer. That was a terrible reality show. Well, I can't say I've seen a good reality show, but that was like, oh hey, we're going to give you a chance of play games for a living, and we're going to have you do this by having you run through the desert on a military training course. Okay.
All of my friends who are testers are miserable. It's not something you compete for.
Yeah, I mean, I know QA testers well, and I've done minimal amounts of it myself. It's not fun. I mean, it's if it's something you really enjoy doing, then it's you do it for the passion of making sure that games are good. But playing a broken game over and over again, to be able to prove that the game is actually broken every time you can do something and you can recreate it, over and
Oh
over again.
God.
It makes a game not fun very fast.
Yeah, a moment of silence for the poor QA testers of Sonic Boom. I just thought about that and I felt really bad for them.
The best part of that, or the worst part, depending on your viewpoint, was when someone misread the credits when the game was first out, and we thought for a second that there were only 2 people working on QA, out of which one
What?
person was the one managing it, because like there were only 2 QA credits in the entire credits. And later on we found out, like, oh, okay, no, QA was outsourced to these 3 teams, and they were listed on another part of the credits. For a while I was like, oh, 2 people QA tested this game. Here are their names. I'm like, oh no.
Suddenly everything makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, oh, Sonic Boom. I didn't believe how bad it was, and I had to play it, and I regret it so much.
Oh, you poor soul. See, when someone tells me a game sucks, I just believe it.
Well, here's the thing. I could at least stop playing it. Jim reviewed it.
Jim, why?
Because I thought it would be funny to review it. I mean, it was funny to review it, but it wasn't worth playing it.
Yeah.
It was a sad. The 3DS version, I was going to do that review as well. I played it for like 10 minutes, ejected the cartridge, and just threw it in the trash can.
That's almost the exact thing I did. Like, I played it for 10 minutes, was like, nope, not going to bother with that one either. But, so I don't know. Is there anything else you want to mention about the Microsoft conference? I don't have anything to say about Halo, except I want to apologize to my Twitter feed. I didn't know it was presented by a woman because I was not at my computer when the conference started. So when I said, oh, finally a woman on stage, I didn't ignore the first one. I just didn't know she was there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Halo is Halo. It is what it is.
It's Halo, but now you can have many players against the environment, so now it's Destiny 2.
I'm excited about Halo. Don't tell anyone I said that. I love Halo. It's just so fun.
I won't tell anyone, but this is recorded, so...
Crap! But yeah, no, I love Halo. I was really excited about that. Like, seeing that one of the teams you can play as is made up of a black man and a woman of color, presumably Asian. That was kind of cool. I already loved the game anyway, so it was cool to see. Basically, Microsoft, a lot of it felt like, hey, we're listening. Like, there was a lot of badass women that were not sexualized and, like, just kicking all sorts of ass. There was, like, Lara Croft. There was the girl from Recore. There was, again, the woman in Halo. I have
a feeling that overall the industry is sending that message this year. The Bethesda pre-show thing made a big deal of kind of the diversity in its workplace. We had the Ubisoft's conference. I mean, aside from, of course, Aisha Tyler hosting it and just getting better every year at what she does.
She's so good.
Just the representation that Ubisoft had on stage was quite something. I'd love to see it extended to their video games.
Yeah, it wasn't in the games, though. That was the problem. Like, you get Pele on stage, and he mumbles in his weird flesh-colored mic for 30 minutes. But what? What does that have to do with video games? Pele, you're great. Just fuck off.
I was hoping that Pele's Story Corner would be a video game.
Yes. I'm not sure if Pele on stage or Jason Derulo on stage was more awkward, but, you know.
Definitely Jason Derulo. Definitely.
I just thought it was funny that they kept, like Aisha was in the audience trying to force a meme to happen, and then they brought him on, and I'm like, there's your meme right there. You don't have to try. The internet's going to make a dozen GIFs out of that fucking thing.
Yeah, but I think nothing will be more memorable when it comes to weird things happening than a nervous Swedish guy from Umeå presenting his wonderful game about this Jarn character, followed by a Highway to the Danger Zone with a Superman zombie going out, standing on stage, and then awkwardly being pushed away.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it really was.
Don't do that.
That was a transition, apparently.
It was the extremes of the industry, like just encapsulated, just from this small, this nervous, honest, open guy talking about a game that's clearly very important to him, to then just this big, obnoxious, gaudy, cynical shooter that's going to have microtransactions in it with Danger Zone playing. Like, it's just... It was a beautiful moment in video games, I think.
It was something special. It was almost as out of nowhere as the Peggle 2 moment from a couple of years ago.
Oh.
When the PopCap Games guy just yelled Peggle 2 and walked on stage.
Didn't he jump as well?
He jumped in the air with a fist. Peggle 2! And just walked away. I think that's forever going to be my favorite E3 moment. But you mentioned Lara Croft.
Are we talking about Ubisoft?
I don't know what we're talking about.
Switch?
I have no idea, but I was going to say Tomb Raider looks... I don't know. I wasn't too fond of like the opening bits because all it did was like, yeah, we still got a QTE mountain climbing. Like, okay, yay, that was not my favorite part of the Tomb Raider games. But then they showed like the extended trailer and it looked more interesting. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to playing that a year after it's no longer on Xbox. Because I'm not buying an Xbox One for Tomb Raider because I can't afford buying a game for one console.
I might actually buy an Xbox One for Recore just because, you know, I know these people and they're awesome, and I just want to support them.
That game looks really cool. I just want to see, like, anything that's only a CGI trailer. I stay like, I'm waiting for now. But
I played it. I want to tell you, but I can't.
I know you can't, but
it's worth it.
I don't think you can even say that actually. But
sorry, it's
it's bad. you can say that though. That's okay. No, but I do hope Tomb Raider gets good. I mean, I don't like how Microsoft has basically bought an exclusive thing just so they can have a competitor against Uncharted, because I don't like having games pitted against each other like that. But I mean, as long as the game is good, I guess. I hope it's good. I like the last one a lot. I was really happy about the last one, and I thought I was not going to like the last one because I liked the old Tomb Raider games and just looked nothing like them. But yeah, I hope it's good. I hope we get to see more of Sam, though. I didn't like that there was none of the characters from the first game was there, and it felt like, really? So we went through a whole entire game about like Lara becoming Lara and saving all her friends, and they're not even going to be in the sequel? Not even her best friend? But maybe we'll see more of it. I think that's launching this year, actually. A bunch of surprise release day announcements, so I guess we can move on to Ubisoft, since that's the obvious next one.
Wait, wasn't there an EA before that? I'm kidding. No one cares.
Yeah, no one cares.
Okay, so EA had sports, and then after sports they had mobile games, and then they had sports again, and then they showed Battlefront, but then my Twitch stream died, so I went and worked on my cosplay instead.
It looked okay. Yeah. I mean, it looked really good, but it also looked very scripted, so I don't trust anything I saw.
What about Mirror's Edge? Did you see it? Because my stream dropped right before Mirror's Edge, so I did not see
Mirror's Edge, and I hope it's good. But the thing with Mirror's Edge to me is, like, I didn't like the first one. I liked the first one in concept. Like, I loved looking at the first one, but I didn't like playing it. And I'm hoping this one will be different, because, first of all, the fact that it's going to be open world both bothers me, because everything wants to be open world now. At the same time, exploring that beautiful, colorful, and bright city is something I wanted to do in the first game. So it's also something I asked for, I don't know, but I hope it's good, because we have waited far too long to get to actually see this game properly, and not just, here's a tech demo of the next Mirror's Edge game. Oh, I'm so glad EA didn't pull any, here's an unfinished game we're going to show you this year. Like last year, where everything was so early prototype, we couldn't even tell what game they were meant to be.
Wait, what did they even show last year?
Well, that's the thing. They didn't have any games last year, so they showed a bunch of tech demos. Like, oh, this is how Battlefront looks right now. It's not finished to be seen. Like, you can't look at it yet. And here's Criterion's Extreme Vehicle game, which was absent this year. And we can't show that yet, but here's some tech demo things and thought about it. And they did the same thing with Mirror's Edge, going like, oh, this isn't the actual game, but here's what it might look like. And this year they actually showed the games, even if it still was heavily scripted stuff, so there's always that, I guess. But I can't say I remember much from the EA conference being too interesting. I mean, it was an EA conference. I hate to say it, but I really did stop caring about most of their franchises a long time ago now. At least there wasn't any Battlefield there, but I guess it's because Battlefront is this year.
Yeah, it was what it was. EA went up and did EA.
Pretty much.
Also, Pele happened.
Oh yeah, Pele.
Yes. That was too much. Pele happened.
That was
for entirely too long.
Well, there was also that part where I'm sorry, The hoop god doesn't like that we're ignoring the hoop god.
I was just as a hoopologist, I was just paying due respect to the hoop god by not mentioning him in a podcast. I feel
okay.
that we are not to sully the name of the hoop god who will dunk our souls in heaven hereafter.
Oh, that was the face scanning thing. Looks just like me. No?
No, it really didn't.
Doesn't.
It looked
In fact,
nothing like him.
EA made you white. I would have a problem with that, actually.
Yeah, nothing would have been whiter than that last kind of awkward fist bump hand slap thing that they did. What the hell was that?
Yeah. Oh,
also, tuck in your shirts. You're all like executives. Why is everyone's shirt tucked out? This isn't casual fucking amateur hour. God damn. Sorry, I get really bothered by shirts.
Well, speaking of casual amateur hour, we have Ubisoft CEO another year again coming out on stage looking tiny and happy. Yves
he really
Guillemot,
does, yeah.
I love him. I don't like Ubisoft, but I do love him. He's wonderful.
Little tiny miniature toy John Lithgow. It's amazing.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, it's like a little toy version.
He will stand next to Aisha Tyler, who's like just like looking down on him like some goddess
he looks
from above.
So happy to be there, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he sounded more genuine about the games he was talking about than both EA and Ubisoft, which is weird because it was Ubisoft. But Ubisoft did at least show new stuff there. They had that thing that was called For Honor that a bearded man presented.
Oh, he is the game of the show of E3. The bearded, cane wielding, rings on all his fingers, roaring and laughing the whole time. Just fantastic.
Yeah. I'm still not sure what the game was though, because like they presented it and I was like, oh, it's another Dark Souls wannabe. Oh no, okay, it's not. It's a Dynasty Warrior-esque. No,
yeah,
okay, it's like no, it's a duel game. What?
All I got from it was Vikings versus Samurai.
Versus Knights, yeah, which to be fair,
right.
That's what they should have called it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I first thought it was a Dynasty Warriors like thing, when I saw the like a bunch of no-name troops and like one big hero with a sword walk, I'm like, okay, yeah, I like this. I like Miso games. And then it wasn't a warrior style game. It became this chivalry style, like one-on-one. I'm like, this could be interesting, but I still don't know what I'm looking at. They haven't explained anything.
Yeah, I have to be honest, it didn't look interesting at all. The most interesting thing about that was that man just barking at me.
Yeah,
that was pretty great.
He should be in the game. Well, he should
be
have
in every game.
Yeah, that's true.
They should base the Cyber Demon in the new Doom on him. Like, if he's just like coming in with like a big mechanized cane that's also a chain gun, like a cane gun, and he's just
But I don't want to hurt him. He seems like a sweet man.
I don't think you can hurt him.
Yeah.
You're right.
He will also be the dog in Recoil and just respawn in different robots. But that was amazing. And then there was the second killing of a first-person shooter franchise for me, which was the Rainbow Six reveal, which has now become Blow Things Up.
I have no idea what Rainbow Six is. I remember one of my boyfriends...
It's a slow-paced, tactical espionage game in which you and your friends plan out how to infiltrate and, with minimal damage, take out terrorists and save whatever's going on. And now we're blowing holes in the wall and we can, like...
Metal Gear? Sorry, it sounded like Metal Gear.
I don't understand. Why would Team Rainbow basically blow up a house to stop a bomb from blowing up a house?
Because
I'm very confused.
America?
That's the answer. If that is the American solution to problems. If the problem is bombs, the answer is bombs.
That is so true. It makes me sad as an Arab.
You mean like solution to drug cartels is killing everything in your path?
Yeah.
What was that game again?
was the new Ghost Recon, and it looked nothing like a Ghost Recon game.
No.
It just looked to me like more Division. Like all those games are just bleeding into each other again. Like I was all hyped up for Beyond Good and Evil 2 for some reason. I don't know why I expected it. That I knew they weren't going to, but I'd convinced myself anyway. And then it was just all these Clancy games that just all looked the same, and I just.
Well, yeah, there were 3 Tom Clancy games, and I just want to say. Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, Tom Clancy is no longer with us. I'm sorry. I like Clancy's novels, not his politics, but I like his novels. And, and of course, Rainbow Six, okay, fine. That's based on a novel by Clancy. He created Rainbow, so okay, fine. Keep his name on that. He has nothing to do with The Division. Why is there a Tom Clancy name on Division? It's made by Swedish people in Malmö. I've met them.
It's kind of like they waited for Tom to pop off, and then it's like slap his name on everything. Tom Clancy's Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Tom Clancy's Just Dance.
Yeah.
Oh, I would play that.
But yeah, The Division. People are somehow excited for that. I don't know. Like, didn't you learn from Watch Dogs? Didn't you learn from? Like, it's going to be okay, sure, but like, please don't be hyped for Watch Dogs. I mean, The Division.
It's so hard to tell them apart.
I've seen The Division demoed right in front of me, just inches away from the screen, in a quote-unquote live demonstration, and I saw the look on the dev's face when they realized that they had a hiccup and the videos on the 2 different players were unsynced. So I'm just saying, I don't believe for a second anything in The Division is real. As far as I know, the game is an RPG Maker game, which is fine, but they haven't shown it.
Yeah, I'm expecting just a standard third-person shooter. Like I'm not against it, but I'm really not.
I'm expecting another Ubisoft game, which probably be okay. But I think we need to somehow let Ubisoft learn that. I mean, I think we need to learn so that Ubisoft can learn that they can't just push out the same game with a different name. Oh, this time the assassin is a car. Call it The Crew. Okay, good, we're done.
Is that what The Crew is?
The Crew is literally a plot about you being framed for murder of your own brother, and then you have to, like, break out of jail, or you got out of jail somehow, and you have to reclaim your name by taking down other people and bringing up your crew again.
Your brother die or something? Because it's yet another game in which you're an angry white man who's lost a family member, which is every Ubisoft game.
And here's the thing, no one knew that until the game released. Because Ubisoft just showed, like, oh, here's you driving around America. And I played the demo, I was like, okay, well, this could be okay. And then the game launches, and it has this really overly elaborate Hollywood wannabe. Well, it was ripping off the Need for Speed movie, which is a movie I really didn't like. So that was a bad thing to start with. But it was just,
and it was like
drive to control points to unlock more of the map. Like, oh, go to this radio tower and hack it. I'm like, why?
And the script was amazing. It was like, you couldn't get more, like, middle-class writers, like, trying to write urban, tough guy, street-level dialogue. Like, it was glorious.
But, like, why do I have to hack into a radio tower to get a working GPS on my car?
What? Are you really, really poor? Yeah. Is it supposed to reflect the struggle of, I don't know...
Well, I'm pretty sure everyone had a smartphone in the game, so no. Because they could easily bring up a
driving, like, you end up driving the most expensive cars in the world, like really flash motors, and you've got to hack satellite towers to get a GPS going.
So
because Ubisoft.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, because I used to joke about that when Far Cry 3 came out. Like, oh, it's like Assassin's Creed, because you climb up into towers and unlock the map. And now that's every Ubisoft game. Yeah. Ghost Recon is going to have that. We all know it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Mirror's Edge, pulls the same trick.
Yeah.
No.
It's already, we know it's open world along with Ghost Recon, and that we know how they do things.
I mean, Zelda's also open world, so maybe not all hope is lost.
Well, I could see Nintendo introducing radio towers into
please.
Just call them
Link, climb up on that totem and just look at the map. It's like, no, I'm done.
Just have it be owl statues like Majora's Mask, and you slice them, and then now you've unlocked this portion.
Why?
I want the next Zelda to be good because I didn't like Skyward Sword. But yeah, that's not at all. That's not Ubisoft. So let's just leave that aside, I suppose. But Ubisoft, they had some game that was interesting. But now I'm having trouble remembering it. They started the conference with announcing a new South Park game.
Oh yeah, they did.
Which I did not expect. I had never played the first one, so I don't know if it was any good, but I mean...
I really liked it. I mean, but then again, if you don't like South Park, you're not going to like it. And I fully don't blame anyone who doesn't like South Park. But I'm into it. I really enjoyed Stick of Truth, so I could stand to play the, what was it, Fractured Butthole.
No,
Oh, wait, is that really?
That. Yeah, the fractured.
The Fractured Butthole.
I don't want to validate them, but that's a really good name.
That is, well, yeah, it is. It's probably the best name at the Ubisoft conference, to be honest. Everything else just like really boring stuff. Like that was when Ubisoft had great diversity and like the presenters, like they had a lot of women, they had people of color, like they were really good with that, and they had no interesting games to show. Like I'm really trying to
playing gruff white guy with a gun shoots everybody.
Well, I do, but I already have a bunch of games that are that. And they're more interesting than...
But don't you need more? Oh, what about dudes with fedoras are now assassins?
Oh, I forgot about Assassin's Creed. I actually did forget about it. Remember when that series ended with Assassin's Creed 3? No. How many years ago was that? But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I think the setting looks kind of interesting in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I think it is. But I have never... Like, the main character looks like the douchiest Guy Ritchie character ever.
Yes.
And I don't want to play that character.
Yeah. I'm kind of sick of playing assholes, really.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, can we play anyone else? No, sure, but like, their place is not in every goddamn game. Like, I don't have to play sassy white asshole in every fucking game that comes out.
The thing is, video games are still stuck in the comic book 90s, where the anti-hero is the cool things to be.
Yeah.
Like, every character is Venom right now, which, you know, Venom was cool for a bit. But then you got every character trying to rip off Venom, and that's where video games are right now.
It's like they're Venom, Azrael, Batman, or Spawn.
Yes.
Like one of those three archetypes.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I feel Assassin's Creed Guy Ritchie dude is more Azrael Batman than Venom.
Yeah.
Azrael Batman. I actually did forget about that one. But
there was also the Minion game that I forgot about that we should all forget about. Fuck that.
The Minion game. I didn't know. Was that Ubisoft or EA? That was EA.
That was EA. It was just it was another one of their, Dungeon Keeper Mobile, Simpsons Tapped Out style free to wait games.
Well, you can play them on your Apple Watch now. So
well, that's good.
Now you can check you can check your watch every other hour to see if your dungeon is actually built. I'm still upset about Dungeon Keeper Mobile. And that was not even my worst game of last year. That's the weird thing. And I mean, that's one thing for like people like you, Jim, who play everything on Steam Early Access and, well, Steam Greenlight and like that stuff. But I didn't do that. But yeah, I think that covers most of the games. But I wanted to hear your thoughts on Microsoft's hologram gaming technology with Minecraft.
VR in general, just it doesn't do it for me. So far, like I see very like financially comfortable tech bloggers seem to be the sole market for it. They're all very excited, but I've got a mortgage to pay and a family to feed, and I'm not going to drop it on an Oculus and a Valve thing and a HoloLens and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not. It's cool looking, and I mean, if one appeared on my doorstep, I'd use it for 15 minutes. But the whole VR thing just doesn't grab me.
You should talk about it on the Jimquisition. You'll find like 12 in your
No, but yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, I tried the Oculus for the first time just a couple of months ago, and I mean, it didn't work for me. I couldn't see at all in it, which was a bit of a disappointment because I was actually pretty excited about it, mostly because John Carmack is excited about it, and I get excited about anything John Carmack's excited about. But like the whole like hologram thing, I found interesting, but it felt very Milo. Like it was like, oh, this is the thing that probably works in theory if you have it set up on a specific stage, planned out perfectly for a stage show, and have the money that Microsoft has. I won't be able to get to see my Minecraft work on my couch table, my couch by the table. Like that's not gonna happen. Even though I did like the idea of that because that could offer some cool new gameplay ideas that we haven't seen before. The idea of like actually seeing the game in 3D proper and not just like 3D like the 3DS or
yeah, but it's Minecraft. I mean,
well, I like Minecraft.
Yeah, but fun. I mean, HoloLens for Minecraft, like, couldn't you have...
Oh, come on. I don't know. This is the only reason Microsoft bought Minecraft. I realized it while watching that.
Yeah, like, good point.
This is the perfect thing to show off what this holographic thing can do because it's built around squares and you have square tables. Oh, there you got it. You can show off how cool it is. That was, like, in Microsoft eyes, if this takes off, that was worth the, like, what was it? $10 zillion that they paid to Mojang and Notch. Like,
don't remember.
That was all
that was
they wanted.
A lot of money.
That's why they don't mind updating the PS4 and PC version of Minecraft still. But yeah, I don't know, Lottie. What do you think about holographic gameplay?
I like it as an idea. I always like experimenting with an idea, even if it doesn't lead anywhere. You know, I'm never too fond of this notion that, you know, oh, such and such a thing isn't the future. Well, maybe it isn't, but it's good to at least mess around with an idea and see what you can do. You know, like I was hearing about that that thing they were doing. What was it? At some like I don't know if it was GDC or something where they had that virtual reality buried alive thing, but that's not going to be, you know, like a practical thing that people can do. But it's good to mess around and try out all these ideas and different interfaces and stuff. Like, I mean, if we didn't have like so like the you know, like you start off with like generally unresponsive motion tech and stuff like that, and then you make it better over time, and so then it becomes more viable. But you probably wouldn't have got there if you hadn't have gone through the like the.
You sound like stages. Nintendo. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, Lottie does sound like Nintendo. That's absolutely true. But whenever I rag on Nintendo, I always make sure that Lottie hears it. But yeah, I think this is all the time we had for this episode. So we're gonna get ready for the Sony conference. Pretty much all of us.
Oh, I'm excited.
So you people can pitch your Twitters or whatever you want to mention that people should check out. We start with you, Lottie.
I'm at Somni Lottie, but I'm probably if you're listening to this and you don't follow me, I'm probably not going to let you at me.
Oh yeah, you're locked. That's
yeah,
true.
I'm locked. But so if no one can vouch for you, I'm probably not going to let you in. But but that's where I am. I've got a YouTube channel like Somniferous Gamer. I don't really use it, but that's the only public thing I have. So
yeah. Dina.
Yeah, you can find me at Petite Mistress.
All right, Jim.
Google Jim Sterling, and I'm sure you'll find me.
Oh yeah, here we have the famous person.
Yeah, do not Google my name, for the love of God.
You can find me at Andrea_Ritsu on Twitter, and well, if you listen to this, you know who I am. So, thank you for listening, and bye.
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 Bye.